Well, good morning and welcome to the HR TailorMade live series, Conversations with Consultants. I am your host, Dr. Tiffany Slater, and I am the CEO of HR TailorMade, the HR solution for small businesses. With these conversations, we will provide you with information and resources that you need to lift the weight off of your shoulders and to get back to doing the work that you love. And more importantly, having more time to enjoy spending more time experiencing joy in your life and creating joyful experiences for others. And so my guest today can certainly relate, and she will also share great information about how we can better manage our health while we are building our empire. And she is Patricia Friberg.
Hello, great to see you.
Good to see you. And so Patricia is a life and executive coach and a podcaster. And I just love Patricia. I love having conversations with her. And we just have so much fun just chatting. So Patricia, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Patricia Friberg, and I'm so happy to be here. And this is like the first time I've been live, right? So this is new for me. But what I do, I am a coach, and I come by way of I was a licensed therapist. I also spent 25 years in the fitness and wellness industry. And then in addition to that, 10 years in management. So I come to coaching. What I love about coaching really is that it really encompasses all that I've done thus far. And it just helps me to be able to relate to the clients that I have with all the experience that I do have and bring to the table.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing that. So let's jump right in, Patricia. Yeah. So one of the questions that I had as I was thinking about how can we best provide value to the people that are watching, tell me what are 3 things, and if you can think of more or less, that's fine, but what are 3 things we can do today to start our journey towards a healthy lifestyle while also building our empire?
Wow. I mean, that is the secret sauce, right? I mean, it's about trying to get the keys to the kingdom and really looking at, I love in coaching, we use a lot of the wheel of well-being or the wheel of life. And you can look at the different aspects of your life and see what attention you've been given to certain places where you're feeling like, wow, with regard to financial, I'm doing great, but then when you look at health or nutrition, you're like, my scores wouldn't be as high. So by doing that wheel, it really is a good indicator to look at, what is working, what are you really dialed into, and then areas where you'd like to make some change. And I think as a business owner, it's particularly challenging because you do wear a lot of hats, and I think the importance of having somebody like a coach to help you with accountability, to also have somebody as a sounding board, a partner, a thought partner, or I also love the passenger in your car, somebody there to really listen. And so I think 3 things, back to what you're saying. Number 1, get a coach and look at the wheel, see how you're doing. And it doesn't have to be very often. Number 2, something I love in coaching, which we can dive in a little deeper later, is appreciative inquiry. And that is the key to your personal development, leadership development, your business development, and coaches are specially trained in this, or many are. And this is a wealth of information because it really helps you look at your successes and what has worked thus far. And then that also then helps you design, and then destiny, the whole 9 yards. You're off. It comes in 4 parts, and I can dive in a little deeper. So I would say number 3 would be really looking at your overall, physical health, because, when you do own your own business, your physicality, your body is so important to how you perform. Right. And I've worked with professional athletes, and I feel that our body has to represent the business and I'm not talking about superficial. I'm talking about longevity. I'm talking about optimal health. And once again, having a partner for that, a thought partner or an accountability partner, is important.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And one of the things that you said that just plays in my mind is the whole appreciative inquiry piece. One of the things that most probably don't know about me, I have a PhD, but it is in organization development. And the school that I went with was an appreciative inquiry focused school. And so I can definitely relate to the fact that that is so important for so many reasons. So I'm going to ask you just to talk a little bit about appreciative inquiry in the work that you do and how you use it to move your clients forward.
Well, I honestly love it because, I was an art therapist. So it really does speak to a little bit to the creativity piece, right?
Yes.
And so, I'm thinking back, I love to use examples, but I had one client who I had during the pandemic who wanted to make a career change. She wanted to pivot, and she was using this time. She had a job, a very successful job, but really felt like this was the time for her to really start with some development and a personal development, and then really to look at a career shift. And so the first steps what we worked on, we did strengths. So we did the wheel of life, of course, to kind of look at her balance. Then we did all of her strengths. So we did it both with the VIA strengths assessment, but then we also did the Clifton Gallup to really look where her strengths lie. Then we went to the appreciative inquiry. And so, to sum it up with appreciative inquiry, it really is about using, I would say it's more as a positive approach to really looking at, developing your personal strategic vision. So whether it be personal, and then for those like yourself, Dr. Slater, I would say, looking at it from a business standpoint, organizational is also a whole nother niche. But with this particular client, we worked on it for her personal development. And, so we've got, you get to look at your strengths, right? That's, you get to do that discovery. Then you're looking at the dream phase. So it's in 4 parts. Then you've got the design, and then you've got your destiny. And it really helps create that clear vision of where you want to go. And having somebody there to help facilitate it, because how many times, I'm sure all of you understand and can relate to this. How often do we look at our lives at things that we would have liked to have done differently? Look at the negative aspects of how, what you would have liked to have changed, or I could have been better at this or that. But how often do we actually sit down and look at what went well?
Yes.
Honestly, all of us are like, I can't remember the last time I did that, right?
And
we're just working on ourselves.
We are very hard on ourselves, and looking at what we've done well and looking at what we do well is very important as also. And it's really important as we think of ourselves as growing these businesses and looking at the people that we are growing and developing to help us grow these businesses. Always approaching things with an appreciative perspective is really helpful, and it's uplifting for a lot of people, as opposed to first going to, okay, let's talk about what we did wrong. No, let's talk about the things that did well, and let's capitalize on those. So thank you for bringing those up. Let me ask this question. How does an executive and life coach help small business owners?
Well, that's so great because, as you know, as a small business owner, it is challenging because you're wearing, like I had mentioned, so many different hats, right?
Yes.
So many different hats, and you're managing your life, your business, and you're never off the clock, right?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, it's so hard to carve out that time. And you're everything to everyone. You're CEO, you're the president, you're the vision, you're you're everything. And then that's just your work life. That doesn't even include, everything that's going on behind the scenes, right? With your families and a CEO of the family, all of that.
Yes.
How I would say that both, from a personal and executive coach, depending on your goals, how they can be really beneficial is really looking at, having that thought partner, having that person, that passenger in your car, somebody who is your sounding board, somebody's going to help you with your own personal growth. And then also that also helps with the business growth, because when you're dialed into who you are, as a business, when you're actually taking care of yourself in the process and having that accountability partner to help you take care of yourself in the process, it's extremely successful. Now, executive coaching, when you're developing businesses, an external coach, also very beneficial when looking at organizational, which is very much your expertise, and looking at the, all sorts of assessments and looking at the business plan. And I loved who you had last week. That was amazing. I learned so much from her as a business strategist. So an executive coach can also, be there. The business strategist is very much her own entity, but the coaching can then come in after and help, support, what business plan they have, right?
Yes. Yes, I appreciate that. And last week's episode was Vanessa Yacumin of Vanessa Yacumin and Associates. I think I've got the name right of her company. But yeah, she's an awesome business strategist. So I'm glad you found value in that. Absolutely. And thank you for talking a little bit about how you help small business owners. And the other question is, a lot of people, there's so many coaches out there, right? So if I am starting a business, or I've been in the business for a while, should I go with an executive coach / health coach, or should I go with a business coach? What questions should I ask myself or answer for myself to make that determination?
You bring up such a good point, and I'll just be completely transparent with you as a therapist and a licensed therapist. When I first was looking into coaching like 20 years ago, what was hard for me was that I didn't see like a real licensing body or certification. It really felt like anyone could hang a shingle and call themselves a coach. And essentially, a lot of people are doing that, right? But there, as you know, because you're in an amazing coaching program right now, Coactive. Yes. And I went through the College of Executive Coaching, and those are very much, stand up certifying bodies, right? But how do you know this, right? How do you know that you're getting with a coach that is educated, that is walking the walk, that it has that knowledge, that has the experience, and that is through the ICF. Okay, that's International Coaching Federation, and so. As a coach, there's a different criteria. You can become a member when you're part of a certifying body. So even just to be a member, you have to already be affiliated with a certifying body. Then from there, you get all the different letters, like you get to achieve at different levels of your coaching. And that, like, the first step is the ACC, which is what I'm working on right now. I'm going to take my test, and I'm going to do it, guys, next week. So accountability. I have all my hours. I have done my studying. I'll take the exam next week. Accountability. You can reach out and to ask me how it went. Secondly, I will say, here's another one. Health and wellness coaching. I've been in the fitness industry 25 years. Okay. So, a lot of people can hang their shingle up and call themselves a health and wellness coach. That being said, there is actually a board certification that you can take. And that really, if you're looking for a health and wellness coach, you want to find somebody with those credentials. So it is a board certified health and wellness coach. Now, with that program, it's the same as looking at the doctors. My husband's a physician. He went through the National Board of Medical Examiners, that licensing body. It's the same body, board certification for health and wellness coaches. So you want to look for those letters. So it's HWC-NBC is those are the letters. I mean, it's like a whole alphabet. But, yeah. So just to be clear on that, after you find somebody who's in these reputable companies and part of ICF and board certified as a health and wellness coach, and or it doesn't have to be both, then it's really about having that first call with them. And a lot of us, like myself, I'm like, hey, let's find if we're a great fit, right? And it's completely free. Like, let's get together and see if this is a good fit. Yeah. And, I don't have to be an expert and what they're doing. In fact, I'm just there to support, right? They are the expert in them. They are the expert in what they do. I am there as their support. And the client is going to tell me specifically how I can best support them. And that's what you want to listen to, right? Yeah. So it's about chemistry. It's about listening, right?
And it's about finding, someone that whose background and credentials you trust.
100%.
Thank you for that. Is there a way, or you know what? Let me ask this question. What type of success have your clients achieved with you? What should they expect from a relationship with you?
Okay, so this is my most favorite part because honestly, I get ridiculously excited. Now, I have to when I'm on a call with you or when I'm working with you, I have to dial it down a little bit because my enthusiasm can be a little overwhelming. But behind the scenes, when I have a client have success, they text me and say, hey, guess what? I just had my conversation with my boss. It went amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. That makes my year. I mean, honestly, for me, I am, an outside observer, with working with the client, but at the same time, I feel such investment, right? In that client. I want them to be successful, and I know they can be successful because they're already in coaching, right? People who go get coaching are already on the right track. Yes. So I just will have to say, when working with me, you're going to have a good time because humor is in my top strengths, and definitely communication and social intelligence, all that. We're going to have a great time together, and it's a very disarming, very warm environment. But I have learned to dial back my enthusiasm when our clients have success. Like I'm going to do the happy dance, Well, cool. I just feel it more internally now. I don't actually express it.
Yes. So from a health and wellness perspective, what kinds of results have your clients experienced?
It's the gamut because a lot of clients that I've worked with professional athletes, not as a coach, but as a, doing more corrective exercise. And I've been in that realm. So to see them, their successes of being able to have less hip pain, stronger glutes, all of that, they're peak performers. That is their job, is their body, right? Yeah. So those successes, even though it wasn't in that coaching realm that I'm in now, I still feel like it was very much synergistic to what I do now. Like they are able to squat deeper, get lower out there on the field, have more springiness, more explosive, whatever their goal might be. And I think with wellness, it really goes the gamut because a lot of people, it's about self-care right now. The pandemic, self-compassion, I think is something that, you know, we need to dial into, because the pandemic, we're still recovering, right, from it, emotionally, physically, the whole 9 yards. And I think that with wellness, and the successes that I've seen have been people really being able to get more self-care in their lives.
Yeah.
And then with that, they just happen to, and taking that time, doing that mindfulness, with that, all of a sudden the scale starts shifting. All of a sudden they're making healthy choices. All of a sudden they have that energy to then go and work out, right?
Yeah.
So it's not, we're not sitting here giving a recipe on what workouts should happen. It's about how do we look at the whole body?
Yes.
And internal, and then soon the external just magically happens.
Yeah. And you know what? I can definitely attest to that. Working with you is very much so disarming. And I never feel as though, oh my God, I don't want to tell her that I didn't get to this or didn't do this. I never feel like that. It absolutely does feel like a partnership. It absolutely feels like my sister is calling me to say, Tiffany, what's going on? What did we do that was great this week? How can I support you moving forward? I mean, that is exactly the way that it feels. And I will also say it feels very natural. So it doesn't feel like it's forced upon me to make healthier choices and to do better things for myself. So I can definitely say that working with you is definitely different than what I expected from working with the health and wellness coach in general.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And, you know, it's an absolute pleasure getting to work with you. And I love how we met through Sister Diamonds, and it was such a great organization, and so amazing what you're doing. I love to see your success in all aspects of your life, because you're a super mom. You know, you manage the CEO of your family, and your own business, and your health. And I remember we were, you know, if you don't mind me sharing, we were talking about how your body is your business.
Yes.
Body is your business. And I really feel that is true. It represents what you're putting out there. It represents, you know, your health, you know, and the health of your business. It's simplistic.
Yes. And, you know, I really came to the realization working with you that taking care of me and being kind to myself is essential to the happiness of those in my family and to the success of my business. Because if I am not kind to myself and if I am not taking care of myself, my business will suffer because I won't be able to deliver for my clients, and my family will be unhappy because I will not be able to spend time with them. So I thank you for all that you do for me. And thank you so much for making time to have a conversation with me today. And thank you, Patricia. So how can people get in contact with you?
Well, if you are into podcasts and want a little inspiration, it's called Learned It from an 80s Song. And it really is about uplifting stories that resonate with an 80s song is like a theme song, right? And we talk about obstacles, we talk about strengths and what strengths they use to get over those certain obstacles. And you got to listen to Dr. Slater's because it is amazing. It was in February was when we did yours, I believe. And then also love to coach with you. www.patriciafriberg.com. You can find me there. And my email address is quite simple. It's patriciafriberg@gmail.com, and you can just shoot me an email. And, you know, and like I said, I'm more than happy to jump on a call with you and just get you started or see if it's a great fit for me to work with you. I wish everybody the best. And I just feel so blessed to be on this, on this forum, this live forum, which is something I'm not used to.
I'm going live on LinkedIn, so you are my very first LinkedIn guest. So thanks again, and Thank you all for tuning in and listening to us today. I really appreciate my guest, Patricia Friberg. And so again, I am Dr. Slater of HR TailorMade, the HR solution for small businesses. If you are ready to get the HR help that you and your team deserve, be sure to schedule a 30-minute strategy session over at hrtailormade.com. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so that you know every single time that we go live via Facebook or via LinkedIn. I'm not sure if LinkedIn has that option yet, but I will certainly research that. And so next week, we will be talking with Melissa Lewis, the owner of the Majestic Group, and she will be talking about how she helps small business owners to put time back in their calendar so that they can focus on what's important. So until next time, be kind to yourself, and thanks so much for joining us.